Walt Disney, teller of stories, engineer of imagination, creator of dreams. Walt Disney has been a global influence on entertainment, cinema, and imagination, and has been the subject of countless articles, books, and movies, all with the same goal: to tell the story of the great storyteller, to find where he came from, and to unravel the mysteries of the man who invented the modern imagination and continues to inspire and entrance the world to this day, the man who called himself Walt Disney. Walter Elias Disney was born on December 5, 1901, in Chicago, Illinois. Disney was one of 5 children born to his parents, Elias and Flora Disney. Though it was Disney's birthplace, and he did end up attending McKinley High School in Chicago, where he took most of his drawing and photography classes, Disney's most associated his childhood and his roots with a town called Marceline, Missouri. The Disney family moved to a small farm there in 1906. Walt always recalled the farm as a wondrous paradise, with animals abound and orchards of apple, peach, and plum trees. Disney was often known to claim that the years he spent in Missouri, years of curiosity, adventure, and carelessness, were the happiest of his life. These fond memories would later play a large role in Disney's work as an adult, fueling his desire to cultivate and encourage the inner child in everyone. However, not all of Disney's childhood memories were rosy. In 1909, the Disney family moved to a small house in Kansas City. It was cramped, stuffy, and had no indoor plumbing. Suffice to say, it was not the paradise of Marceline. Furthermore, Disney's father, who was short of money, took on a job as the manager of the local paper route. To further save money, Disney's father refused to hire boys and instead used his sons, Roy and Walt, as free labor to deliver the newspapers. At the young age of 9, Walt was rising at 3:30 in the morning and was racing on his bike to get the papers to their driveways by sunrise. The whole ordeal of life in Kansas was rather traumatic for Walt, in that he had to assume so much responsibility so quickly and so early in his life. This, some say, played an extremely large role in his desire to preserve childhood in his works and films.
In 1920, Walt began working for an advertising company where he was introduced to a completely new world, one of fantasy, imagination, and animation. It was then that Walt decided to move to California to pursue his dreams, with merely $40 in his pocket. While in California, in search of a job as a director, Walt and his brother Roy launched Disney Brothers Studio, which began the Disney Corporation as we know it today. The Walt Disney Family Museum, dedicated to the life and legacy of Walt Disney, called the studio the leading animation studio in the country. In October 1923, Walt signed a contract with M.J. Winkler to produce a series of Alice comedies, which was considered the real start of the Disney Corporation. Later, in September 1927, the first Oswald the Lucky Rabbit was released, followed by the Steamboat Willie cartoon in New York the following year. The debut of Steamboat Willie featured the third but most famous release of the Mickey Mouse cartoon. While in the process of creating and revolutionizing Mickey Mouse, Walt married Lillian Bounds, one of the studio anchors. Difficulty came in the late 1930s, which included the death of both Walt's parents and the start of World War II, when the United States military was forced to use the Disney studio as a military base. In response, Walt released moral-boosting films and training films for the military. After the war, Roy and Walt developed and introduced new films that showed in theaters, which featured a combination of action and animation. It was during this time that the studio successfully produced Alice in Wonderland, Cinderella, Peter Pan, and Lady and the Tramp. Along with these famous films, Walt also debuted Treasure Island and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. The 1950s and 1960s were a time of development and expansion for the Walt Disney Corporation. In 1964 and 1965, Walt Disney participated in the World's Fair and announced his plan to create Epcot, the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. It was Lily Bell, the life-size locomotive that ran around Walt's home, that spurred the creation of Disneyland. Walt Disney died on December 15, 1966, after a full life of adventurous feats and revelations in the world of animation. Walt Disney provided people from around the world with joy, hope, and imagination. It was he who declared, "All our dreams can come true, if we have the courage to pursue them."